can you guess what we're going to talk about today?
Welcome to the Coffee Talking Show, the podcast for women living abroad. Today we have a great episode.
We want to bring you in our conversation. This is the whole idea of our Coffee Talking Show. We didn't prepare this. We don't know what we're gonna come up with in today's conversation. This is purely authentic, genuine conversation between Maayan and I about this notion of worrying.
Or don't worry.
Or should we worry?
Anyway,
let's not worry.
Grab your coffee, maybe your notebook, and
and let's have fun.
Let's have fun and don't worry.
Don't worry.
Don't worry.
Don't worry. So, the reason why we want to talk about this specific topic today, about this notion of worrying and life abroad, is that I have to tell you how excited. I read this post. If you follow us on Instagram, you probably saw me commenting this. I read this post on one of the relocation groups on Facebook the other day, and I have to tell you about it. So it was an anonymous post, so I don't know who posted it, asking if anyone has planned or has decided to go and live in the Netherlands, and how do they deal with this idea that in 30 years, people say that there's going to be lots of lands that will have to be taken by the sea, and the level of the sea is going to rise so much that Netherlands will have to change. And if this is the case, how her kids that she will bring her into relocation right now to the Netherlands are going to deal with it in 30 years, and how they solve the situation.
And we both were like, what? Why do you worry about what is maybe going to happen in 30 years? Do you ever know if the earth will still be here in 30 years? Do you know if you will be here, if your kids will be here? Do you know if the Netherlands or France or, any other country? You don't know. You don't. So why worry?
Why?
So we began, say, maybe you've seen it online. There's a very viral video that went on a couple of years ago about this Indian guru that say, do you have a problem?
No.
If no, then why worry? If you do you have something to do about it? If no, then why worry? If yes, then why worry? And it's a bit funny, we're making fun of it. But actually, if you think about it, worrying about a potential danger in 30 years for your kids is kind of crazy. I'm sorry, it's kind of crazy. And you might call us irresponsible. You need to think about the future. Yeah, but you don't have to worry.
Yes, exactly. I think that's the point. You can think, you can plan, you can understand how things are going to work. You can prepare yourself for things. But this notion of worrying about it, how does it help you? Does it really make you do things, or does it hold you back from things just because you worry? Now, don't get me wrong. There are a lot of research about what's going to happen probably in the Netherlands and all over the world, but no one knows. No one can actually guarantee to you when or how things are going to be. And I love that someone commented on this post and was like, I've been hearing for 30 years that in 30 years things are going to be a certain way. And that's so true. And you can call us naive or lovey-dovey and positive psychology and all of that. But honestly, maybe you moving to the Netherlands is the solution to this problem. Maybe your kids that are going to grow up there for 30 years are going to come with the perfect solution as to how to solve this water situation. You don't know.
We don't know. Actually, we don't know anything. And I'm sorry, that's like my woohoo thing. hippie mindset. We think we know. We think we know that in 30 years there will be a big problem with the climate change and the Netherlands will be phased off the earth. We think we know that, but actually we don't. We don't know if we will wake up tomorrow morning. We don't know if there's a meteor hitting planet Earth next week. We don't know that.
Yeah, but what do we do know is that people love to stress about things that are really not relevant right now. And it's even more than that. People love to stress other people about things that are not relevant right now. And I have to tell you, like, I think it was like last week, Google recommended a video for me. Like, I love that. So these are things that you like watching. And I love commenting to him like, this is not. So I got this like video about Africa being split into two and how it will impact like the entire world, because there's gonna be a new continent and a new ocean and I started watching, and then they said, like, I think it was after like a minute and a half of the video, it's a 25 minutes video, a minute and a half of the video saying it should happen in over 560 years. And I was like, then why am I watching this right now? Like, who cares? Not that I don't care, things are gonna happen, but who knows? Like, and I was like, again, no, Google, I do not want to watch this.
Again, it's not that we don't care about what will happen. You know, climate change and all that is very important. But if there's nothing we can do about it, you know, right now, like, are you going to solve right now a problem that is not happening for at least 30 years now? No, you can't you can't solve a problem before it happened.
Exactly.
And
that's a good one. I want you to say it again.
You can't solve a problem before it happened. And then you don't really have to worry about a problem that is not here yet.
Actually, it's even bigger than that. Because what usually happens when we worry is that we create a problem that is inexistent. When we worry, we are creating a situation that is problematic. We see the problem even before it actually occurred. So we create another problem.
Yeah.
And then we deal with this problem. So basically, we never deal with this thing we worry about. We deal with the problem that we created intentionally just because we were worried about.
Ooh, yeah. And you know, you hear us talking about this right now and having fun, but actually, I'm guilty. I worry too much, you know, over things that I can't control, over problems that I intentionally create, just, you know, to have some fun, make some drama, get some worry, you know. We're all so used to do that. But I think one of the reasons we wanted to talk to you today about this is we needed to hear it ourselves. And, you know, a lot of the times the topics for our podcast are actually things we want to say to ourselves.
Yeah.
So I'm guilty. I worry about things that are not happening.
You know, I want to give you an example that is so small, so silly, but just to emphasize this. So it's our birthdays in the next couple of days. Like literally mine is in 3 days, and then yours is next week. And for the past 2 weeks, I worried about the weather on my birthday.
Smart.
Can I do anything about it? No. But you know what's the problem that I intentionally created because I worried about the weather? Is that I didn't create anything for my birthday, waiting to know what the weather will be so I can make decisions. But I'm like, it created for me another problem intentionally.
And a lot of frustration.
A lot of frustrations as well. So, true, the weather is fine, so I will be able to.
The weather is fine, it's raining.
No, it should not. on Friday evening, it should be fine. It's not sunny
I'm just saying, right now it's raining.
right now, but on Friday it should. No, but this idea is that we take things that are so small, and the reason why I shared it with you is, as Mayan said, we're guilty of those things. We're not here to lecture you on doing things and then we are like, hey, we never do that. No, we do. But because we do, we can tell you that we pay attention to those things. And then when we do pay attention, we laugh at ourselves. That's the first. Humor is a big part of it. But then we're like, okay, so then why worry? Then why are we doing it? What can you do with it differently?
And again, it's not that you shouldn't worry and you shouldn't care and you shouldn't plan and you shouldn't do anything, just lie down, I'm not worried, I'm gonna let my life happen to me. And it's not about that. You can be responsible for your life, you should be responsible for your life. You can plan, you can be active in your life, but you don't have to worry.
Yeah.
I don't know if it makes a lot of sense. Maybe we can give, some examples about life abroad. So why people worry when moving abroad? From what we see.
Because they don't know. They don't know what to expect. So they worry about what might happen, how their experience might be. Those mights.
Yeah.
It's like those things that you do not know in advance. So this uncertainty is creating a lot of people to worry.
Yeah. For example, I can give you, when we moved to France, I had to register my kids, my girls, to school. And I didn't know how to do that, when to do that, where to do it, what do I need in order to do that. So I worried, what if I can't get them to school on time? What if the school is not good? What if they won't accept me to school? All this. And I'm really worried. I wasn't sleeping at night because I was worried about this. But when I came to France, I actually came in May to do that because I was so worried. So I flew from Israel to France. I went to see the school. I went to City Hall, and I knew I don't have all the papers because I called and I knew I didn't have everything I needed. And I went there to City Hall and I was shaking. Remember? I was shaking and sweating because I was so worried that the lady will tell me, well, you don't have all the papers. Yeah. And I knew that. I don't have all the papers. But I didn't know what to do about it. And she said to me, hey, don't worry, you don't have all the papers, but you can get all the papers and you can come and register to school until the last day of August. And you know what? Even after that, if you want to register your kids to school on the 5th of September, you can still do that. Because school is
an obligation
and they have to accept you to school. So basically, you don't need to worry about this. All you need to do is get the papers you need. Then I had more time to get all the paper and I had nothing to worry. And she said to me, I really remember, I was all shaking. I'm so sorry, I don't have all the papers. She said, don't worry, madame, don't worry. I'm like, okay, if you say so, then why worry? And I registered them, I think, at the beginning of August, like really, really late.
But yeah.
And everything was going well, right?
Yeah. I can share with you another example of worrying. Before I moved from Israel, I remember packing my things and being like, how on earth am I gonna take what I want to take? Do I want to take? What should I take? How could I take?
All those questions.
But those questions are making us worry. So I remember looking at my stuff and being like, okay, I'm not taking container, I'm not moving this way, I'm moving with suitcases and not even boxes, so whatever is not possible to grab inside a suitcase is not relevant, so I need to start selling my things and saying goodbyes to my stuff, which is fine, I love that. But then I started organizing things and realizing I need more and more suitcases, and actually takes a lot of space. So then I started worrying about other things, like how will I even be able to carry it? Like, it's nice that I'm packing it, but how physically I'm gonna be able to carry it, and where am I gonna store it, and what? So you worry about so many things, but as we said before, those were things the problem was not there yet, but you worry about them. And just to give you an idea, at the end, my mom took 2 suitcases a couple of weeks before I left, and then I flew during COVID. Airports were empty. There was no one at the airport. I flew with 8 suitcases myself, each above 20 kilos. So do the math. It's heavy. And in Israel, I had help, because I don't know if you remember, you could not take me to the airport because it was a lockdown. So I had a big taxi that actually came, and he helped me grab the things until like the check-in. But when I landed in France, that's where I was like, ooh, there's no one. I have 8 suitcases. There's literally no one around. Now I need to figure this out. And you know what? Then I didn't worry, because I was like, there's no other option. Like, I need to take those suitcases outside, whether I want it or not. So yeah, I do. And I remember, like, for those of you watching us, I remember taking like 2 strollers and be like, I can do this, and going. And it happened. And that's actually when you realize you can do way more than what you think you can do.
Yeah.
The only thing is that when it becomes a must.
I think when you take away the questions and you replace them with actions, then all your worries are kind of fading out with the questions. Because when you take actual steps, real actions, moving forwards, then during the actions you don't worry. It's before the action that you worry. When you question yourself, how am I going to do this? Where will I go? Why am I doing this? Then you worry. But when you take actions, that's not the time to worry. That's the time to take action, to do. So if you think about it, once you take away the questions, the worry goes away, and you just take actions. So if you don't want to worry, take actions. That's math. My kind of math. That's the kind of math I can do
and understand. But I think that's very important to understand. Life abroad and moving abroad, whether you're currently like only thinking, imagining, dreaming about it, or actually planning it, or you moved already, you've been living abroad for a while, there's a lot of things we are worrying about, and it's very natural. And again, like, it can be day-to-day life, like worrying about the weather, or it can be like serious stuff of how will I be able to do this, or how will I pay taxes, or how will I sign the kids to school, and how will I ever feel like a local? This is also something that a lot of expats are worrying about.
And let's talk about this for a moment, about this, will I ever feel like I belong to a new place? Will I ever feel not a foreigner? Even the question is like, it's the essence of the worry. Why do you ask yourself, do I belong? Will I ever belong? Like, don't ask yourself this, and make your life as such as you will feel like you belong. It's yours to do that. It's your decision to decide, hey, I live here, so I belong. That's mine to decide. It's no one else's. And just by asking the questions, this is what makes you worry.
Yeah. So all those big life questions and small life questions, like those unanswered questions, they are really not serving us in any way. So whenever you feel yourself like, oh, I worry too much, oh, this worries me. Well, stop and ask yourself, like, is this relevant right now? Is this really true? Like you heard me saying it a million times. Is this really relevant? Is this really true? Is it a problem now? If the answer is yes, can you do something about it? And let's requote this Indian guru. If you can do something about it, then do. Stop worrying. As we said, if you take an action instead of just thinking about the thing, you actually stop worrying. And if you cannot do anything about it because it's out of your control and out of your reach, then do something else instead of worrying, because this is not helping you. This is not helping you move forward. And you know, if you stay stuck in the mud, then nothing good is gonna happen out of this. You're literally like, things are just gonna happen, and that's not how you want to live life.
Yeah, you know, I just learned a hack. When you ask yourself a question, for example, how am I going to pay taxes in the new country? So if you replace the question with I am, so instead of how am I going to pay taxes, you say just I'm going to pay taxes, and then all you gotta do is find out the way to do that and do that. So you take off the how, you just leave the I am, and you do.
Yeah.
And it works with how, why, who, all of those WH questions. And it takes the worry, you know, even if it doesn't go away,
it
minimizes the worry.
Yeah. And you know, maybe you've heard me saying it before, like it's just the same as if you're gonna, like, if you imagine the problem and it's not really there, then you can imagine the solution as well. If it's your imagination, because again, worrying is something that is in your head right now. It's not something concrete about what's going on right now, because if it's something concrete, then you can take an action. But those big WH questions usually, or even if it's something you're worrying that is gonna happen in 48 hours, still, it's not right now. Because usually you don't worry about what's going on right now. Like, I want to give you an example to emphasize this. If you're planning to go to a meeting and you are late, because the metro is late or whatever, and you're standing and you're worrying about the impact of you being late, even if it's going to happen in 10 minutes, it is not right now. You are never worrying about what's happening this exact moment. You're worrying about the consequences of what's going on right now. You're worrying about what might. Again, it's those might happens, and then those questions you're asking yourself. So bring it back to now. Right now, what can you do about it?
And you know, there are actually a lot of things you could do. If you're 10 minutes late, you can call to let the people that you're late for know that you're running late. You can do nothing, you know, just, I do nothing and I'll be 10 minutes late and
I'll deal with it when it comes.
Yeah, you can do that. That's an option. But you know those people, you see them all the time. Every morning you see them. I'm like, oh, what am I going to do? Oh, okay, I'm looking at the watch. Like this will help you. Looking at the watch, seeing that you're late. How does it help you right now? It doesn't. It doesn't. You could run faster, you know, maybe catch the bus, or you can take a taxi, you could walk, take bicycles, or I don't know, fly if you want. But do something instead of just sitting there worrying that you're late, because it's not helpful.
Yeah. So it's the same about, like, if right now you being worried about something is holding you back from doing things, that you actually want in your life, whether it's moving abroad, living, actually enjoying your life abroad, going after your dreams, taking this opportunity, going on an adventure, whatever it is. If this notion of worrying is holding you back, then really, one thing, as Mayan said, instead of asking the question, say the statement, you'll find the solutions after.
Yeah.
And the second thing is bring it back to right now. Right now. Because whatever will happen after it, you'll figure it out. Trust yourself that you'll figure it out.
Yeah. And think about all those amazing things that you might be missing because you worry. All those opportunities that you just let them pass by because you worry too much. Because, for example, I see so many times women, people in general, saying, they'll never give me a visa, so I can't move abroad. I'll never get a job in the US, so I can't move abroad. I only have a first degree or bachelor degree in this and that, so I'll never get the opportunity. So what? So you're going to let your dream of living abroad just disappear because you worry that nobody's giving you a visa, nobody's giving you a job? Hey, nobody's giving you anything, nobody's waiting for you nowhere. If you want to move abroad, you gotta be active about it, take responsibility and do something about it instead of worrying and letting, things just be.
Yeah. And also, like, another example that we hear quite a lot, and again, I can relate to this at some levels, is this worry of, what about my parents? My parents are getting old, and I worry that if I leave and go after my dreams, well, I'm not going to be here when they need me, or I'm not going to be able to help. But do you know when it's going to happen? How it's going to happen? Do they need, what exactly will they need from you? Maybe you going after your dream is exactly what they need. You don't know.
You don't know. Maybe when they need you, you can come back and give them what you need. They need. You don't know.
I talked with this lady, one of our clients, a couple of days ago, and then she said to me, I moved when I was 20 years old to follow my dream. And now I'm 50 years old and I feel like I need to go back to be closer to my parents because they are getting old. And for 30 years, I thought I need to go back to be close to my parents. But now that I told them that I want to come back, they said to me, we don't want you here. Because you're having your great life and we're fine. We're actually really fine. And she said, for 30 years, I felt guilty. And I didn't actually enjoy living wherever I was living because I always felt guilty that I left my parents. But once I said to them, I'm coming back to be with you because you're getting old and I want to make sure that you have everything you need, they told her literally, we have everything we need and you living your life makes us happy. Don't come back for us. And she was like, that was a crazy moment because I wish they would have told me this 30 years ago. And I said to her, but did you ask 30 years ago? Or did you just felt guilty for 30 years? And she was like, damn it. And that's another thing. We worry because it's in our head. Say it out loud and people will come and be like, woohoo, this is nothing.
Well,
this is something, but
yeah, sometimes it is a big deal. We hear a lot of cases where the parents are not approving of this move and not happy about this. And sometimes we even know it in our family. People, disconnect from their parents because they don't approve of this move, and you can be there for them, and it creates a lot of drama.
I'm not talking about that though. It's not about that.
But again, when we worry about this, it doesn't help us.
Yeah.
When we take actual steps, it helps us in one way or another. But just worrying isn't going to get us anywhere.
Yeah, I agree. So we're not going to worry.
So don't worry.
Exactly.
So why worry? Are you worried about your move abroad? Then do something about it and stop worrying.
Yeah. And actually, if you do worry, It's fine. Please let us know in the comments, wherever you're listening to this right now, and let's chat about it. Okay?
Yeah. And we really hope you replace your worry with some actions and actually, live your life, enjoy it.
Yeah.
Try to worry less. We don't say, don't worry, be happy. Although it's a great one. But try to minimize your worries.
Yeah.
And do more active steps. And
It's just everything we say here on this podcast and everywhere we talk basically is to help you create a life you actually enjoy living. And I personally, maybe I'm wrong, do not believe that if you spend your days worrying, you actually enjoy your days. Personally, maybe I'm wrong, correct me if I am. I'd love to hear that, to debate that with you. I don't believe, that's my biggest belief. If we spend our days from morning till evening to worry, well, we cannot really enjoy it. And my whole objective is to help you enjoy your life, no matter where you are, or for how long, or for whatever it is. So yeah, minimize this so you can enjoy more.
Yeah, absolutely. So we really hope this was valuable to you, and maybe that you're worrying a little bit less right now about your move abroad or in general. And don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on every platform that you love and listen to. And if you liked what you just heard, so please give us a review, comment, give us a like, share this with others maybe. And until next time, we wish you an amazing day.
Yeah, and don't worry.